Hello, beautiful people. I am Jae Davis, and you just checked in to Cook It Out. Today on Cook It Out, we are here in the Cabernet Room at Food and Lifestyle Studio. We have a very special guest. She's going to let us in the past, the present, and the future of her world. Everyone, please welcome Miss Executive Producer, Miss Tamra Simmons.
Thank you.
Hey, Tamra.
Hi.
How you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm good.
That's good.
You just got back in town today, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you was with the Real Divas?
Yeah, Real Divas of Atlanta. We had a women's retreat at Chateau Elon. It was
Chateau Elon, really?
Yeah, it was really nice. It was
Girl,
like about 14 of us.
Yeah, I seen on your live, and I'm like,
yeah.
is that Jasmine guy?
Yeah.
Girl, so what exactly is the Real Divas?
It's just women in Atlanta, like producers, writers, directors that come together, and we basically produce content in Atlanta and for Atlanta. So there's not an organization here, so we just kind of created it and collectively came together. So we're going to be working on future projects together.
Oh, that's dope. Okay.
I know.
Nice,
I'm excited.
Nice. So can anyone like join? Is it?
Well, right now we're mapping out like the logistics of membership and things like that, and just getting the foundation together.
Oh.
So, and like bonding and knowing each other's qualities and things like that we bring to the table, and then kind of going from there.
Nice. So are you like the rookie in it? Because it seemed like it was some women that I'm like, oh my God, like, come on.
Well, it was more of like, really it started out with the photo, and then that we took, which went to like Deadline, and then Black Enterprise picked it up, and so they were like, it was originally like Terry J. Vaughn and Ty Johnson and Cass Singer. They basically came together and was like, hey, we need this, organization, but let's take this photo, iconic type photo. And then from there, Sister Circle and all of them started picking it up. So we're like, okay, maybe it's like a real thing.
That photo was very iconic.
A real thing.
It was really dope.
So that's what we're mapping out now. We're like, yeah.
Nice.
This needs to be something, because we realized that the community really needed it, especially like Black women in Atlanta.
Absolutely. And of course they found you, Miss Tamra Simmons.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So we want to know, this Southern Belle, if you can hear it in her voice, everyone.
I tried to work on that.
No, we hear it.
Man, really, I'm slipping.
So tell us, where you come from and a little bit more about that, Tamra.
Well, I'm originally from Tennessee. Grew up in like Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is like 30 minutes outside of Nashville. So every now and again you'll hear like a yeehaw from me and stuff like that. But I moved to Atlanta about 6.5 years ago, because I initially started a marketing company, and there were people that were reaching out to me from Atlanta. And so I basically was like, well, I think I need to move there so I can expand my company. So I moved here. It was like a big culture shock, because I'm like a people person. I'm like, hey y'all, hey, what's going on? Like, people are like, what? Like, who is that? Why are you talking to me? Do I know you? I'm like, you don't know me, I'm just saying hi. But got used to it and just networking with people, and started working with like a lot of celebrity talent. Then that segued into like me casting for different shows and working with like actors and actresses, and then doing endorsement deals for different athletes. And because I understood that there was like, I had a business background and I was in arbitration before in Tennessee, and then I realized there was like a gap between the corporate world and entertainment. And like entertainment was trying to figure out how they can get into corporate, and then corporate was trying to figure out how they can get into entertainment. I'm like, let me build a bridge, for the two. So that's when I started working with like different networks, production companies, and like Coca-Cola, Microsoft, and like doing different things with them, and like introducing them to entertainers that could fulfill their like events and stuff like that.
Wow. So you've been in this entertainment industry for about like 7, 8 years? 7
years.
Wow.
I'm still alive.
Girl, and you've made some major accomplishments in 7 years, let me tell you. Really? So as a child, did you always know you wanted to be in entertainment, or what did you want to do?
Really? Okay. When I went to college, I majored in like chemistry, which is like so crazy. So, but I love science and I love like experimenting. And so I majored in chemistry. And then I was like, well, I wanted to work at a hospital. So I ended up working at Vanderbilt University Medical Center, which is like one of the top hospitals in Nashville. And I started out in the burn unit of all places, not just a regular place. And so I did that and put myself through school because I had my daughter. So I put myself through school. Then I ended up getting a degree in chemistry. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go maybe to med school. And then I went to OBGYN because I wanted a break from burns. And then I was so bored. And I was like, okay, let me go back to burn and trauma. So I went back. And then I was just like, I just did this whole career shift into like, I was like, law. I don't even know how. So I went to paralegal school. And then I ended up interning for an attorney's office. And then I moved up really fast, like as like a litigation paralegal. And then from there, I was like, oh, I think I'm going to go to law school. But I ended up...
Gemini stuff.
I know, it's crazy. But I ended up going back to school for 2 years because I realized I could get a second degree. And I ended up getting a degree in philosophy, communications, and religious studies. And so then I applied to law school. It's like, I'm going to be an entertainment attorney.
Oh, okay. So entertainment did come in at some point. Okay.
And then I was in law school for a year, and then I started my company.
Wow.
It's like, Lord, why you just didn't tell me to start my own company?
Wow.
But I know I had to go through certain things, and then I didn't know who I was, so I was like finding myself, figuring it out. A single mom, and then I got married, and then my husband wanted a divorce right after I got married. I'm like, okay, I'm a single mom again because we had a son together. Wow. So, through all of that, I just was trying to figure out what my purpose was. And then when I started, I got actually fired from a company, a Fortune 500 company, for no reason. And they even said, we don't have like a, particular reason, but we have to let you go. And I knew that was God making me move out of my comfort zone then. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to pursue, what it is that my spirit is telling me to do.
So that's pretty much how you operate, it seems like, just in spirit.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you...
Well, I don't listen to my spirit all the time, but I'm getting better. Sometimes my flesh is like, hey, you do this, and your spirit's like, nah, I'll do that. You gotta be told a few times, God, like, me and God, we have conversations that are kind of like bad. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm just like, no. And God's like, yes, you are. I'm like, no, I'm not. Then I come back around and do it his way.
Right. Always, of course. So if you could talk to that Tamra when all of those things were happening, like, what would you tell her to maybe ease the transition or...
Well, that Tamra was like really trying to figure out why things seem so like hard to, like if I set a goal, it was like I would almost get there, but I wouldn't quite get there. So I just would, would have told that Tamra, just stay the course and don't switch. So I think a lot of switching caused me to, I'm like, I still haven't used the chemistry degree. I'm trying to figure out what that purpose was.
Right. That's what I'm like, wow, that's a...
But I do understand my body a lot better, and I understand medicine. So I'm like, maybe that's why.
Yeah, absolutely. People could call you and get advice on, like, girl, my head hurt. Oh, no?
No. I just let me try it first, and then I'll let y'all know.
That's fair. That's fair. So, with your line of work as a producer, you have so many people that I'm sure reach out to you and say, like, I have a story. I want you to help me. Like, how do you choose what you bring to the platform?
Well, I think it's something that, like I was saying, I go with my spirit, basically, like, now, because I know who I am. I know what my purpose is. And so if it doesn't match up or align with it, I just, I try to give them advice, but it may not be something I can do, but I'll try to see if there's something someone else can do.
Yeah, so you still try to help.
Yeah, I just think that that's like naturally in me, which I sometimes wish it wasn't.
Yeah, I could tell.
I try to help everybody.
Definitely,
yeah. And then I'm like, oh, they can't help you. They come back to me and say, oh, thank you for your referral, but it didn't help. I'm like, okay, let me see if there's something else I could do. Instead of saying like, I'm sorry, I tried.
Yeah.
That's just me.
That's a good spirit to have.
I don't know.
It sounds like a good spirit to have. So, actually, currently, you are award-winning executive producer at Tamra Simmons. So, and that's for docuseries Surviving R. Kelly, which I call it the Beyonce thing because it like completely stopped the world. So did you expect for it to stop the world? Like, were you shocked that it?
No, not really. It was more of like, I think I just operated in the fact that I knew it was important to tell, and I didn't care how many people watched it. I didn't care how many people. But I wanted just the Black women's voices to be heard. So I wasn't even focused on the outcome. I was focused on what I knew I was assigned to do.
Right. So, Tamra, when you first decided to take on the project, and you know a lot of women had wanted to tell you what was going on in their stories and everything, like how did you take it knowing like at this moment it's allegations and you know you don't want to put them in a position where you put them on this platform and people are bashing and doing things to them? Like how did you feel having to have them trust you and hopefully the world accept it, or you know like
I just, you know, it was a lot of them, their first time speaking out, and I just encouraged them. I'm like, you know, you're talking to me, but if at any time you don't feel comfortable, like in camera, or you don't want to do it, just, you know, don't do it. Like, you know, but the importance of it is, I saw the other white counterparts, you know, saying like, this person did this to me and this happened to me, but I didn't see us. I knew it was happening to us because in the Black community, we basically say like, well, what were you doing? What did you have on? Oh, you wanted money. Yo, you were fast. Oh, this and that. That people like, that's why we had to get psychologists involved in the first part, because we knew that there were going to be people that are going to think like, well, they put themselves there, or that's what they wanted, or, you know, people still think that way, you know, and people are going to feel that way because of who he is and things like that. And you know, everyone's entitled to their opinion and that sort of thing. But we also knew that it was important just to be able to provide, you know, there are Black girls out there, other Black girls that aren't with celebrities, that this is just important for them as it is for, you know, it's not about Robert Kelly. It's about Black women. This happens to us too. And how can we stop it from happening to us? And how can we stop the silence from happening, you know, to us? So, and that's what I encouraged them and told them. If you're not doing this for you, you're doing it for another Black woman. And you're also doing it for those that don't believe this happens to us. So
did you need any type of counseling afterwards to
probably do need counseling.
Because it's a lot. Like, they're putting all of their...
Yeah. I really just, like, just handled it the way I handled it. But, I mean, of course, there are times, like, you know, you read articles and you see things saying whatever in black and white, and then you talk to the person and it's just so much more. And then when I realized like, okay, there's like power in numbers, and these women don't know each other, but then they telling me the same similar you know, I'm like, they didn't get together and tell each other this. They didn't know each other. A lot of them didn't even cross paths until the screening that we had in December of last year in New York that we got a gun threat at. But, you know, we didn't have, like, none of them knew each other like that. And then I think the families, they were supportive of each other because they're both trying to get their daughters back. But a lot of the survivors, I couldn't even say, oh, well, we've been talking to this person, that person. Everybody's information was, like, confidential.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So with the whole Me Too movement, it's like these stories definitely, you know, there's stories that really need to be heard because these women went through so many things. So what do you say to the situation where there is a truth in the story, but what about, you know, in any situation, not just the R. Kelly, but in any situation with the Me Too movement where it's a hidden agenda, it's a motive, you know, so how do you differentiate the ones that have this from the truth?
I mean, everything that we did, we couldn't say anything if we didn't have proof that it happened or that they were in that type of situation. So the legal team was very robust in the legal process. I probably were cursing them out in my mind because they would ask me the same question like 4 or 5 times. I'm like, I already gave you guys this, but
be sure.
Yeah, but afterwards I realized, like, through editing, I'm like, oh, we can't say that because we don't have this fact to prove it. We don't, you know, we can't say, oh, you know, this person had this, this person had that, but and then not be able to like put it out there or whatever if we had all the facts like laid out. That's why we weren't worried about like, you know, the threats that like we're gonna sue Lifetime, we're gonna do this. We had everything like lined up pretty much.
Okay. So how do you feel about, I'm sure you've seen this whole Harvey Weinstein thing.
The $25 million
Yeah,
settlement.
so he came to like a deal. So,
I think because I think that's what was going on with R. Kelly as well. I don't think that it, like, I think if he had money, I don't know. I think he got out of it having money last time because the jurors were saying, like, look at them, like, look what she has on. There's no way this man would want her. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're not believed, even in court. The woman saying he did this to me, and then the juror saying, I don't believe it. Like, look what she has on. Like, you can see it in the documentary, where the juror actually admits that he based his decision off of what the girl looked like.
Wow. So just for your own, just how you feel in a situation, whether it's Harvey Weinstein or R. Kelly or anyone else that is in a situation where these women are speaking out and they're saying that these crazy, wild things have taken place, with them and these men. Like, what do you feel is justice? Do you feel that they should suffer, or do you feel that they need help, that they're sick?
I mean, I believe that if the men know that they're doing these certain things and then there's like repercussions because of it, then I believe that it won't continue to happen.
Right.
But as far as the ones that have been doing it, I think a lot of them probably stop, or they probably don't. They're like, please don't come out and talk about me. I mean, there's a lot of people that I feel like are like that, but at the same time, like, moving forward, you can't really do anything about the past, but like, can they get help? Yes, they can get help. I mean, you didn't see none of the women in the documentary saying, I want him to go to jail, I want him to do this, I want him to do that. They have their own opinion as to what they feel would be better for that, for R. Kelly or that particular person or whatever the case may be. So I think it's just based on the person. Like, I can't really say, I wish this happened and that happened. I just wish that it would not happen anymore.
Got you. So there's a new series that's coming, right?
Yeah, The Reckoning.
Okay, so that's in January?
Yeah, it airs 3 nights in January on Lifetime, January 2nd through the 5th.
Okay.
So it's totally different than the first, because people are like, oh, you're beating a dead horse. Are you a black woman trying to bring a black man down? And it's like, no, it's not that. The world realized the importance of it. That's why I was voted the top #1 show of 2019, because it's information that a lot of people didn't have. And it made an impact, and it allowed like the crisis centers, the hotlines to like flood. And there were women that in my DMs, they're still in my DMs, saying thank you so much. Like, I felt that I was the only person that this was happening to. I thought it was me. So they got healing from the documentary. So when I realized that, I'm like, that's why I wanted to create meaningful content. Yes, I helped franchise a reality show, but at the same time, this is my purpose. That led me to my purpose, and so that's what I'm gonna continue to do moving forward. So in part 2, you'll see like Dame Dash and Matthew Knowles and different, people talk about just like the music side of it and the effects of like how women do go through music and are, approached in different ways in music. So it's not just about R. Kelly, but you also see like the abuse that he suffered from his brother, like talking about it, from the abuse that he suffered from the time he was like 8 to 14, which could have caused some of these issues that we have today.
Got you. So Tamra, of course, as a sister, how important it is that we build our community, all of us, the men and the women in it, and that we actually move into more love and truth with one another. So is there any other projects that you have coming up? Because I know that I read somewhere that you actually are looking to build the black man. So you really want to help with.
Well, it's the black community overall, but it's like you got to clean up before you can build. So so just clean up some things, and then but yeah, the prison system, I see that affects the black men the most. And just doing my research, I've been working with a production company, and we're working on a deal now where we're developing out a documentary basically on seeing the inside of the prison system in like North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, like the southern states. And we may do New York. We're not sure just yet. But just the effects of it, like, a black man could commit the same crime as a white counterpart and then get a harsher sentence, and just helping with that. So that's one of the things, because a lot of our black males are going to jail and going to prison, and it could be over them thinking that they're still in a candy bar and then, you know, getting shot and things like that. So I'm working with like social justice and the prison system because of that.
Okay, you've been working on that for about a year or so?
The social justice piece I've been working on since 2000. We started in 2018. And then I was trying to finish up Surviving R. Kelly, and so we're back working on it, and the prison system I started this summer.
Got you. Okay. Because of course, you know, we gotta help our brothers. Yes. You single?
Yeah, I'm single. That's why I'm trying to help my brothers, so I can't, you know what I'm saying, not be single. But yeah, and I just feel that like the black men that like they're like going, you know, instinct almost like. And not noticed. Yeah. So especially like when I see like black men doing great things in community, I'll just like be like, "Thank you so much, King." Right. I'll be like, "Who is this lady?" Yeah. You know, but just encouraging them too, because we need those men to help. You know, I need those men to help me and help the other men too. So I usually like, "Hey, what are you doing? Come to this prison with me." Like, you know, because sometimes a man don't want to talk to a woman, and they want to talk to a man. So I try to partner with like 100 black men, and different ones that are involved in the community here in Atlanta, so they can help me with the projects too.
Nice. So if that black man walked through that door, would you be able to cook him a meal?
I mean, I think Chef Bella's going to help me with that.
Okay.
And so the answer will be yes.
It will be yes.
Yeah,
okay.
So I'm seeing in the future. Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll see if she can cook when we come back. You guys stay tuned.